taste buds on fire. We've got Karan Tanna, the founder of Tie Hospitality. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Vishal. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you, man. I mean, you've got 12 restaurant brands and you're only 31. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, over the journey, people and stakeholders have been supporting and we have been growing. So we are happy and we have a huge responsibility now to take it forward.
So, while we talk about his brands in a bit, Karan was just telling me that India doesn't have a global restaurant chain. And, having a global restaurant chain also is a sort of soft power. Like McDonald's and Domino's and KFC and Pizza Hut, they've come to dominate India. But which Indian brand does? None, right?
None, absolutely none. And it's very unfortunate. I mean, we have such a huge captive consumption. We are the second highest populated country, but we don't even have a single brand that has more than 3,000, 4,000 stores.
It's sad. It's very sad. And that's your mission, right? To go take Indian brands global. And you've got 12 brands. The brand that you want to take global is called what? It's called BB Chan?
No, I mean, we would like to take all of our brands global and, the entire vision is to enable homegrown brand to become a soft power or to become a mega restaurant chain. And for that very reason, we will, of course, make attempts to take our brands global. But we have also facilitated an incubation center wherein we decided that if there is a product in the market which can be a category leader and which can be a homegrown next mega restaurant brand, why don't we become an enabler? And help those brands to grow. So, you never know which brand takes that route and suddenly becomes huge and goes global.
So guys, if you have ideas on restaurants, then you can be incubated at Tie Hospitality. But a little more about Tie Hospitality, apart from their 12 brands, they've got 70 stores today. How many stores do you have today? 65 stores. You're going to go to more than 100 this year. You've got everything from Indian foods to Western food, right? Pan-Asian, whatnot.
Sure.
And we'll talk about their business model. Very interesting for you micro entrepreneurs. They've got franchise models for people who want to check out the restaurant business. They're an incubator, and what else do? You operate franchisees also, right?
Yeah, so broadly speaking, historically the brands that you mentioned, McDonald's, KFC's or any mega brand have grown through franchising.
Correct.
So DNA is franchising. And in India, we haven't put a lot of focus and emphasis on organizing the franchising market. So we are, I would say the first company in India that has developed this ecosystem around scalability of restaurants. Starting from our own R&D center to our own recruitment and training centers, to brush up training programs, IT infrastructure to manage franchisees, not only to manage the outlets but to manage franchisees for day-to-day interactions. Very importantly, supply chain warehousing so that a consistent standardized product goes across India. So, we have this engine, so to say, which makes brands scalable, standardized at the same time and hence sustainable. So, we have various brands through which we promote franchising, we help entrepreneurs handhold if they have a business inclination. We see which is a brand suiting their profile and their investment, give them that brand, help them set up, give them all our food products so they don't have to depend on the chef at outlet level. At the same time, we help brands. I mean, if there are brands which are category creators or potential category creators, we mentor them and we grow them. So
I like what you've just said. You said you're an end-to-end. You do the R&D,
right?
You will do the recruitment. You'll do the IT. You'll do the supply chain. You'll do the sustainability and also invest.
Right.
I mean, you're hand-holding an entrepreneur completely, right? Which is what's missing in India in many ways, and that's why franchising is a very difficult route. I want to touch upon that you're very organized as an individual. Was that because of your time in General Motors and McKinsey?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm an engineer by education and engineering teaches you a lot of things, and I work with General Motors, which is an American company. So it teaches you discipline, it teaches you importance of processes, and McKinsey of course was a great experience because I think there is no better experience for problem solving than being a management consultant and solving problems of Fortune 100 companies. So, that teaches you how to break down the problem and how to kind of approach it in an organized way, what to prioritize, what to deprioritize. So, of course, my prior working experience in General Motors and McKinsey has made me organized, and it has come as a boon because we are trying to organize an unorganized segment. So,
it's interesting. When you started off, before you started off Yellow Tie, you were an entrepreneur. You quit your consulting and engineering job,
right?
And then you started something called Kachi King,
right?
Which is obviously sold to a private investor,
right?
you managed to grow it to about 200 odd stores,
right,
and grow it to huge GMV of about 70 crores, right? What were the mistakes or what were the lessons that you learned from there to become a second-time entrepreneur?
Right. So Vishal, something that we have not discussed, Kachching was interestingly started by Mr. Vipul Patel and his wife.
It was already existing, which
I partnered and bought equity in. There were 18 stores at that time.
Very nice. I'm glad to say. Correct me if I'm sorry for that mistake. But
I think we didn't.
So, but you built that business?
From 18 stores to 200 stores. So, their product was really nice. They had got this initial traction, and then, I came with a lot of organizational capabilities, which could help to bring in processes and grow it quickly. So, we grew it to 209 stores, and there were months where we opened more than 15 stores in a month. During this course, I realized that there are a lot of mistakes that I was making in terms of menu engineering, in terms of devising right product mix, in terms of having limited inventory at the outlet, which will enable quick throughput of the products, which will enable lesser manpower utilization. The outlets were not designed in a standardized way. So there were a lot of mistakes I made, and I studied a lot of case studies. I read a lot of books on scalable industry, spoke to a lot of people, and realized that this is the gap. The broader gap is that in India, the franchisor or the brand looks at a franchisee only for a capital. Because they want to grow and they don't have capital, they look at franchise. But if you see McDonald's, if you notice in the movie Founder, Ray Kroc, I think he's the father of restaurant franchising.
By the way, McDonald's was not originally owned by Ray Kroc. Ray Kroc who took them global and eventually owner of McDonald's also.
A similar story, but very humbly, but a similar story. And Ray Kroc is a great guy, and I think he really cracked it right because he looked at a franchisee as a HR also beyond capital.
As a partner also.
As a partner. In a franchise, you don't only need him to invest, but you need him to be able to manage it because it is a very human oriented business. So it's not about just setting up a store and opening it up for him and then forgetting it. So I think it's a combined partnership effort, and that's what I learned during the course of Kachching, that we need to be consistent in terms of doing our set of obligations, in terms of giving him back-end support, building up a brand. For that matter, from time to time, come up with new menus, summer specials, Diwali specials, and they need to make sure that whatever we teach them, whatever our SOPs are, they abide by it. Right.
And that's what you did in that previous brand, Kachching. It became hugely successful.
Right.
And you franchised out after that?
Yeah, we franchised out Kachching largely, and then I realized that there were some mistakes that we made which were irreversible because there were some issues in the design in terms of franchise contracts and
that's obviously your first time entrepreneur. You get to learn. So it's a legal agreement, a franchise. So you got to have everything in place.
Absolutely.
The contract should specify how much are they going to pay royalty, how much are they going to invest in the beginning, and the exit period and all that, right? You have to have that in place.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We do have a very strict legal agreement, but again, generally in India, the execution ability of an agreement is a little poor because we have limited number of judges and courts, and there are a lot of cases in pipeline, and hence the severity or the sincerity of abiding by the agreement
by the contract
is a little poor, and that is one of the hindrances that franchising does not sustain.
But you decided to go against the tide, right? You obviously sold Kachching, the family, and you sold it,
right?
And then you obviously started Yellow Tie Hospitality. Talk about the early days of Yellow Tie Hospitality. Which brand did you start off with?
Right.
What are the early experiences? Because you created an entire platform now for expansion. You want to get 1,000 outlets. You're going to go to 100 now.
Right.
You want to go to 1,000. So I want to understand, what is the first 3 years like? What did you do?
Sure. So, I was very clear that I want to build up the infrastructure first before I start growing. I want to engineer the brand which is suiting to scalability. So, from December 2015 until July 2016, so 8 months, I only did back-end work. So I had acquired license of Broster Chicken, which is an amazing IP from US.
It's an international brand, yes.
Yeah, it owns a patent of an equipment called pressure fryer, which utilizes 50% lesser oil to fry chicken.
Wow.
The chicken is really, really nice. It's the best chicken in the world, a very unbiased opinion. And I decided that before I launch this brand, I'll test the market, I'll build up my backend, I'll build up my chicken vendors, I'll build up my training modules. So first,
and you got a franchise person also?
Yeah, I mean,
you did the first store yourself?
No, it was a franchise,
Okay.
and because of our prior successful experience, we had a lot of people who trusted us and who wanted to partner with us. So I would say that raising capital was not a big of a hassle for us, and I had taken an exit, so I had capital on my hand to put into this business. But the problem was to find that right skill set in Indian market at a managerial level who can manage franchising. So there are successful companies like let's say Domino's, Jubilant Foodworks and others who run their own stores. So they don't have a capability of managing the franchise owners and the soft skills involved therein.
Yes.
So
you think that's the key also to managing a franchise?
Oh, absolutely, because especially in India, I mean, we keep on listening of this example that whenever we buy a car, they do a puja at a showroom.
After that, they forget about it.
Maybe, but that's their selling point. So in India, works on emotions, and when someone is starting a new business, there is a lot of enthusiasm, excitement, emotions, anger we need to tackle. So there's this huge soft aspect.
So you're setting a manager to the franchise partner, that you're running a business, but you'll have a manager from my side guiding you.
Absolutely,
that's what you do.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. I mean, there is a manager for front of the house operations. There is a chef for back of the house operations. In central office, we have a team of marketing, graphic designers. We reply to all their digital reviews in 24 hours. So they get a very good backend support.
And it's interesting, and yet you charge only 6% royalty.
Yeah, we charge only 6% royalty because ultimately the most important part of
partners
business
have to make money.
Yeah, it's unit level economics. I mean, if they sustain, we sustain. So we don't mind investing and earning a little less in few initial years, but at the economy of scale, I'm sure we will be profitable.
So okay, you're managing how many? You would write managing these franchisees is like managing emotions.
Right.
So when you sign them up, what do you look for? Right, investment philosophy. They have excess money as a cushion so that they can stay alive for a few more years, because this takes 18 to 24 months to break even, right?
Sure.
What kind of franchisees are you looking for? What are the characters that you're looking for?
I would say the first and foremost is aptitude and intention of doing the business. I mean, you'll be surprised to know that a lot of people come to us who are rich and they tell that I want to do this for my son so that he can get married. He will have a business.
He'll have a business.
So the intention there is not right. Because
that's wrong. Because that boy bought into it in the first place.
Right. I mean, so we really gauge that whether that particular potential franchise owner wants to give full time to the business, whether he has an aptitude of showing that kind of patience, because it's a business which requires a lot of hard work. It's a 12-hour job, maybe more. And
managing people is tough.
When your friends are partying on a Saturday night and Sunday, that's when you are most busiest.
Yeah, because people come to your restaurant to eat and you have to manage your guests.
Yeah. And during Diwali, when your friends are going out, those are your busiest days. So the aptitude is the first thing. Second is their financial capability, whether they can kind of invest the required capital and hold on for 6-8 months till they start making operational break even. And third, their synergy with the kind of brand that they are taking. So let's say if there is someone who is 40-50 years old, we would discourage him to take a young brand like Teddy's, which is a softy brand, millennial brand, because end of the day he will not enjoy that kind of a brand. So we will push him for a brand like Twist of Tadka, which is like an Indian food family diner. So I think the synergy to brand is also required.
And I like the way you created your brands. There's a risk reward. I mean, for example, you do Twist of Tadka, it's a larger investment.
Right.
You got to be and maybe BB Jan, which you want to take outside, maybe it's also a much larger investment, and you need to have focused people, right? Because the big money is involved. But you're supporting micro entrepreneurs through Teddy's and Dadoom, right?
Sure.
Dadoom is the brand, right?
Sure.
So you want to talk about Teddy's and Dadoom also?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Why micro entrepreneurship is important in India? For an investment of 4-5 lakhs, you can start your own business.
Right. I mean, Teddy's is the brand which we recently started, and the intention of starting this brand was only to encourage entrepreneurship into restaurant business. So we saw that there were a lot of people who were working somewhere or who wanted to start a business, but capital investment was a barrier to them. They were a little scared and apprehensive of starting a business because there have been a lot of unorganized players in the market and they've not done a great job per se. So we decided to come up with a model in which we can give an organized support like we give for any big brand, or any big outlet. Yet the category is unique. So Teddy's is a millennial softie brand. I mean, everyone loves softie. There is a nostalgia attached to it. But now today people like flavors like bubble gum, rums and raisins, charcoal.
So there's a lot of R&D into it.
Lot of R&D into it, and they just have to invest in the machine which they can put shop in shop, outside a shop, and the training is very easy. We give them all the premixes, and they just have to pour it in the machine and the softie comes out. So we decided to make the model light on assets and capital investment, light on training, and light on operational expense. And this has fared out very, very well for us. I mean, we are 11 operational outlets. There are 40 more in pipeline. And what happens is that once the entrepreneur starts this, he starts getting confidence that he can manage a food business. And then he graduates to, gathering guts to make a larger investment and having a larger returns hence.
Interesting. You're also doing a cloud kitchen?
Yeah, I mean, we can't ignore cloud kitchen in today's world, and Swiggy, Zomato, Uber Eats have taken over the lot of F&B business and the big pie. And I think if you are not into a cloud kitchen business, you are probably missing the bus. So
for us, 3 brands that
for us there was a organic synergy. I mean, Broster Chicken, which is a fried chicken brand, globally the fried chicken category is quite vacant. Also, there is not much competition besides a big American player. And we serve a lot of chicken wings with a lot of sauces, and we have a beautiful brand called Umran Regional, where we serve biryanis and curries from various regions of India.
Nice.
So that's again a differentiator. By the way, Umran is one of our incubated brands.
Nice.
And then we have Walk This Way, which is our second incubated brand, which is a very unique brand again. It is only vegetarian, healthy oriental walks. So all your bulgogi, exo, sambal, oriental sauces that usually come with some non-veg.
It's a vegetarian restaurant.
It's a vegetarian restaurant.
Vegetarian Pan-Asian restaurant.
Pan-Asian restaurant, and with healthy base. I mean, you don't get black rice, red rice in a QSR. So we serve things like black rice, which we bring from Manipur, red rice, which we bring from Kerala, which is high in protein. So yeah, these 3 brands are into a cloud kitchen brand segment.
It's fantastic. So you've got international brands like Broster, Billboard Studio Bar, the t-shirt says it all, and you've got Chachago and Wrap Chick.
Yeah.
These are international brands that come to you directly. You're the master franchisee in India.
Right.
You've got brands of your own, which are Teddy's, BB Jan, Twist of Tadka, Dadum, right? They're your own. Then you've incubated 2 companies called Umran and Walk This Way. That's fantastic.
And
man.
Bombay Blue is
Bombay Blue. We forgot to talk about it. The iconic Bombay Blue.
Yeah.
It's been around forever, and you just bought it over?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, Bombay Blue was one brand which started before around 20 years, and at that time it was a new millennial bistro, and it has a lot of nostalgia, excellent brand, and then it changed a couple of hands, went to private equity, and we just bought the brand. So we are now going to launch Bombay Blue 2.0, stick to the philosophy of it being a millennial bistro. Now people have started to eat sushi, oriental, try a lot of modern European.
Cities in India?
Sorry?
All cities in India will have a Bombay Blue?
Yeah, metro cities in India will have Bombay Blue, yes.
So you're reviving the brand now?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, and what are the trends in F&B really, Karan? I'm interested in health as a subject here, because I think people order from these food apps, mostly unhealthy food.
Right.
Do you see health coming back in a big way, sustainability coming back in a big way? And people want to know the origin of their product also, the way it's cooked. Is that going to happen?
Oh yeah, absolutely. There is a huge wave that is around clean eating, so to say. I'm a patron of one of the restaurants in Mumbai called Candy and Greens. It's in Breach Candy, which has gone a mile further, and they grow ingredients on their terrace and then give it on the table. So there are restaurants like Kitchen Garden in Mumbai and a lot of them in Bangalore, where they emphasize on clean buying directly from farmers, which does not only help us to consume better for our body, but it also encourages the ecosystem of farmers. And this also makes sure that we don't have any kind of long-term negative health implications.
Nice.
So I think health food is way forward. It is going to grow slow and steadily, but in next 10 years, I think it's going to be a huge pie of business. So if someone is deep into F&B, they need to start sowing seeds into some kind of a health food business.
That's interesting, and that's a big opportunity in the US and UK also, right? Where they're looking at, if you look at Netflix and the Chef's Table series, they talk about chefs who grow their own food, who have sustainable meat, sustainable fisheries. Do you encourage all that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that's the future. Whether we like it or not, we don't have an option. It's going to be the future, and there are plant-based meats that are making waves in the US.
Yes.
So it can't go further than this, and there is a huge technology that goes into making a plant-based meat. So I think that definitely is a future, and it helps the ecosystem, it helps the sustainability, and I totally encourage it. And
where are you heading in the next 18 months in terms of strategy? You've got all these brands, you've got 12.
Yeah.
What do you want to do? I mean, you're starting Cloud Kitchen. Billboard's going to come to India soon.
Right.
Where are you going to go with this? I mean, a lot of investments. Are you raising money? You must be making cash already from this business.
Right.
Are you going to any private equity player?
Right. I mean, fortunately for us, we have been profitable for last 3 years, and we have been growing at a 200% growth. So we are very focused that we want to run a profitable organization and not burn cash into customer acquisition. We want to keep on playing on our strength of scalability and scalability through franchising. So last 1.5, 2 years, we're incubating the team. Now we are a team of more than 100 spread between 5 cities. We are 12 brands. Now I think the next 2 years are going to leverage this 12 assets and grow them to their utmost potential. And reach to a 300 store mark before looking at
18 months?
In next 18 to 24 months, and then probably look at bringing in more brands and consolidation of our existing brands.
And creating more micro entrepreneurs.
Absolutely. I mean, that's our vision, because ultimately these entrepreneurs are going to become mega entrepreneurs tomorrow, and the ecosystem will grow. And Vishal, to be honest, we might or might not be able to give India that soft power mega restaurant chain, but we want to at least lay a path for organized restaurant franchise operations. So
you're
tomorrow,
on a path. I hope you do it and create a global chain too.
Yeah, I mean, we are very optimistic, but we are very sure that if not we, because of the kind of practices that we will lay out, some brand in next few years will give India a soft power brand.
I want to ask you, I mean, because you're doing this, you've done the R&D, recruitment, IT, supply chain, sustainability yourself. How did you find all these factories that will supply food to you, sauces to you, farmers who supply, fresh produce? And butchers who supply meat to you? How did you do that?
No, sourcing is a little bit of a challenge in India, especially when it comes to scalability. But at the same time, owing to expansion of this global chains, they have also helped a lot of local vendors to develop, because they needed their own stuff. They have helped the tier 1 vendors, so to say, to develop their factories. So nowadays, I would say that accessibility to people who can manufacture scalable products is not too difficult, but the entire science of getting the right product at right price, not only at X Works, not only at their factory, but considering the logistic cost, warehousing cost, and the end product cost at the outlet, and the food cost that you control at the outlet is a science. And we have outlets in Gangtok, Guwahati, Impal, Bhubaneswar, Patna.
Nice.
So the product that we buy at Mumbai at a particular rate, our franchise buys at the same rate in Gangtok. So that's the kind of science that we have cracked.
It's interesting. So the sauces come from a central factory, goes everywhere.
Yeah.
That could be Bombay or close to Bombay or wherever.
Sure.
But the meat is also locally, meat and vegetables is locally sourced.
Vegetables are locally sourced, but meat many a times is centrally sourced. It's marinated, and then it's made long shelf life friendly.
Interesting. There was a lot of private equity participation in this business.
Right.
A lot of companies, especially in between 2005 and 14, then suddenly tapered down.
Right.
Why is that?
Well, honestly, it only tapered down because they did not get good exits. They did not see a good value building up. They grew too fast.
Too many chains had.
Yeah, I mean, they started opening stores left and right, and they didn't really calculate the corporate level profitability, because F&B, unlike IT business, is a little tricky business, and especially in India, the climates are different, the demographics are different. So it's not so easy to kind of just replicate your stores everywhere. So it's very unfortunate that the investments of private equities did not fare out, and hence now it has become very difficult for young companies to raise funds.
But you are helping them, and I hope your incubator model succeeds too.
Yeah, thank you.
And the cloud kitchen model, right? Do you see becoming a 50% of your business soon, because so many people are going online, especially in the metros?
In Yellow Tie's philosophy, we would still like to be a front-end retail franchising company.
Because consumption's on the rise in India, people still want to go outside.
Absolutely. I mean, that is still going to go. Lot of malls are upcoming. So, but we see it becoming a major chunk of our business. Let's say roughly 20 to 30%.
Okay, 20 to 30% is very high. That's amazing. That means a lot of people sit at home and order fine dine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Interesting. And you also have a model which is B2B, where you go sit in malls and all your brands are available.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's more like a food court management model. We are doing the first pilot or the first of its kind in Delhi, in Sonipat, in one of the greenfield malls. We call it Yellow Food District, derived from our name Yellow Tie Hospitality, where we manage the entire food court, and the food court has all our brands.
Nice.
So it is win-win for us, it is win-win for the mall operator, because we come with plethora of different kind of brands, and I think we will keep on looking at that model more and more.
No, I mean, I wish you all the best. And slightly to digress before I close the show, a lot of our entrepreneurs would also like to know what inspires you as an entrepreneur. What are you reading? What kind of movies do you watch? Do you get inspired by other people?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think my major source of inspiration is other entrepreneurs. I mean, whenever I feel low or whenever I feel that I need some motivation, I ask myself that how Steve Jobs or how Mr. Mukesh Ambani would have cracked it. He's also busy. He's also in the middle of a lot of things. And that gives me energy that, okay, you need to yourself rise to the occasion and move forward. Of course, I am not an avid reader, but I read few books. I think the book that probably changed the way I look at business was Lee Iacocca autobiography, and
why would you recommend that book?
Sorry?
Why would you recommend that book?
I mean, Lee Iacocca's story is an amazing story of how he, led Ford for the longest period of time, and then he was outstated out of the company because of ego issues.
From automobile company.
Yeah, and then how he within at that age, after being outstated, he then increased the sales of Chrysler to surpass Ford.
It's interesting. So he was thrown out of Ford, went to Chrysler, and obviously that's the biography.
And then he was again got back to Ford, and that's when he met the Mustang, which is the most historic car. So he's the man behind Mustang.
The obviously the road car, the road
iconic
car, the iconic car.
So, and I think the other book that I highly recommend is The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari.
Okay.
Because that
Robin
Sharma's. Yeah. So that gave me a lot of calmness and temperament. So I worked on my temperament after reading that book. So there are this couple of books, and then you derive inspirations from other entrepreneurs. A lot of young people doing a lot of crazy things, and they inspire you.
No, Karan, you're inspiring. You're only 31. You have about getting up to about 100 stores that you're managing on your own. How many people collectively work for you?
I mean, at a corporate level, including franchisees and our corporate, I think more than 1,200 people.
You manage 1,200 people?
Wow. Yeah, I mean, through our franchisees.
Obviously,
and I would also here like to say that my franchise owners are my biggest inspiration, because some of them, the way they run their stores is very, very motivating. They kind of give us a positive challenge and pressure, and they really leverage the franchisor, and I think that's the right practice. If you are buying a franchise, you need to look at franchisor as someone who is going to support you, but you are the driver.
Guys, if now we know where to be incubated, if you have an idea about a restaurant, Karan is here. Karan, do you have an email that they can contact you on?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You can contact me on KT, that's abbreviation of Karan Tanna, KT at yellowtie, YELLOWTIE.IN.
.in. That's it. Karan Tanna at yellowtie.
KT at yellowtie.
It's KT at
yellowtie.in.
That's all the purpose. What does yellow tie mean?
Well, it's a quirky name, and
that's why you said it.
And
it's not got anything to do with the chef's bow tie or the.
Not really. Honestly, no.
Guys,
I'm accessible on various social media and LinkedIn.
Write to him at kt at yellowtie.in.
Sure.
And there you go. If you want to be incubated, come there. Bye, guys.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you again. I'm going to check out that Ford Chrysler book.